All right. Good afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back this Wednesday, January 17th. Still trying to recollect my weekdays here, Monday through Friday, with all these Mondays off, obviously, beginning from even Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King. Obviously, once again, as we've been saying, even with Washington's birthday coming up mid-Feb. But great to see all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room. Hola to Alicia, and great to see everyone else otherwise. Michael, Roger, and all of us here just joining us. Or if you're just joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., at Cyber Trading U. Always look to spread the good word right there. Just make sure that you're following and subscribed right to our YouTube channel, namely there at Cyber Trading U. But actually, coming up, I thought we would have had this posted earlier, just heading into this meeting or even much prior. But if you're inside our live trading room, just stay tuned. Coming up, we're going to post the link here as soon as we get it. Once again, Fausto is doing a big presentation at NASDAQ headquarters. It's part of their Trade Talks webinar series with Jill Malandrino, not to be confused with Traders Talks here at CTU, but of course they have their own mini webinar series that they host each and every week, each and every day, I think actually. But Fausto is going there today. He's part of it coming up, and we'll look to have that link posted for Grant, Kathleen, Phil, Michael, Alicia, all of our members inside our live trading room. Again, as soon as we get it. But with that in mind, though, BFRG, I mean, look at this now, huh? Basically making like a Christmas tree pattern right now, just kind of pulling back down after making this rounded top, you can call it, lower highs off of 4 and change. This was a dangerous trade all throughout the day. And honestly, we pretty much talked about this from head to toe, even dating back to yesterday. We weren't using this stock as our case study, but it goes to show how stock personality typically ends up being retained at some point throughout the day, meaning that early in pre-market this was just a chop fest. It was messy, it wasn't really making that higher high, and perhaps when you thought it could, it came right back down, flattened out, didn't break lower, so it teased you, but it never really made that higher high there. And that's just where, hey, maybe after the market opens and prime time trading, this could look to make a nice move. And it started to. Things were good there. And then it just fell apart at like 9:45 in the morning. It was pretty frustrating. So that was a bit of a red flag, because normally when that happens, it's like, all right, well, now it's going to break lower lows and we're totally going to throw it out. Well, this stock did not break lower lows. It continued in this chop all throughout the day. It even broke higher, as we saw just a moment ago. But here's the issue on this trade. It's not just to say, oh, the stock chart looks messy and it looks like it was very frustrating, but we've seen this happen across the last year, back in, perhaps late July, this is, back at the end of September, this is here. Pop and drop days. This is not a swing trade. This is specifically a day trade. But it is also to say, though, here, looking at the float, BFRG float, 1.8 million shares nearly. So that's so tiny, and especially even in the first minutes of the market opening up here, it was trading 26 million shares at that point. Now it's trading 56 million shares. It's kind of like breathing through a straw. At some point, more sooner rather than later, you're probably going to get exhausted. So here, I'm even shocked that it ended up popping up to 4. I was not a fan of this. In fact, there, I was on a coaching call with one of our students telling him, hey, for as tiny as the float is, it actually wouldn't shock me that, this is more of a bold prediction here, but it wouldn't shock me if this BFRG trade actually suffers a similar fate to the fun stock that we had back yesterday, where they ended up announcing the common stock direct stock offering news. Hey, two completely separate, different companies, but for all these cheap, low float stocks that make these big pops, it really isn't surprising, even the next day or even same day, to see it suddenly tank off of bad news of that. Anytime there's common stock, direct stock offering news, it dilutes the stock price, right? So with saying that here, I was a little nervous of that happening, and I stayed away on this last run. Even now, I guess it's trying to inch back up once more, but I'll tell you, I'm not a fan. We've done well on this stock as a day trade. That's why I'm even saying here, this is really not moving the way that we've seen this stock move in the past. It's moved better for us even than this. So, you got to be picky and choosy at times. I'm not going to really put this on our main watch list just yet. One issue with all of this is that whenever there's one low float, low volume stock that pumps like this, there's typically a couple others that try and lure us also. So LQR up 42%, number 2 on the gainers list there. Hey, just I have it on my book map screen to the right of me, so you don't see that here, but that's what led me to turn to this one next. It actually was just starting to pop prior to this meeting beginning, and this one at least has a decent spread, kind of thin orders out there when you're looking at the bid and the ask here on the matrix. Pretty similar though. I feel like this is an even lower float stock if we were to just go back to this here pretty quick. LQR. Okay, not lower, but not far off. Just over 3 million shares, this stock, the float. It's not always my biggest criteria when I'm scanning for stocks out there. Obviously, you don't want to have something that's like utterly microscopic with float, but just even this, it's trading 2 to 3 times over its float. The stock probably, well, actually, it could be a lie. Let's see. Yeah, prior to this big drop off, at least it was trading just around like 500,000 shares a day, 6, 700, 8,000 shares a day. Just, I'm not really a fan of this either. If it pops during this meeting, I'll come back to it. I'll reconsider. But you're probably going to hear me say that a lot here throughout this meeting. Really, as soon as I opened up my platform this morning and saw the lack of activity on the gainers list, you had to feel that we'd end up being in for a long day here. And I don't mean long as in long buying. It obviously led to a nice little pullback on the SPY today, back under 472. Maybe we can get a good bounce coming up, but you had to have patience today. So we spoke about really the top of the gainers list, actually, because kind of above and below it, you got these like cheapy stocks here that we normally don't trade. You got RVSN, another low float stock. I just said that to Kathleen in our trading room. It was pretty much at the time this peak year. That was kind of the whole conversation that we just had before. Now, shot, I was surprised with this shot. Speaking of float, I thought this was really right around that same vicinity, like, oh, a million shares, 5 million shares. I mean, this is still pretty low, but it's like 37 million share float for the stock shot. It's trading 6 million shares today. So it's not really too exhausted in that sense. And it trades about 7.7 million shares on average. So it's really not trading, I mean, more than its average, even, let alone, just it's not exhausted, I feel. It's pulling back a little bit here. So, I don't mind putting this on our list here to start shot. Hopefully, we build up a lot better from this point. But now it's dropping off another few more pennies. If this is the break here, I was going to say, let's hope to see this at least hold from this little dip point. So, if we're going to begin to break lower now, damn, that might even make me remove it. All right, I'll keep it there for the time being, but I could probably pull this here coming up. I really want to see some better trades that are at least showing good momentum, good volume there. PRQR looking good until it didn't look good. EOS, wow, we took our eyes off this trade for a little while, didn't we? I mean, even dating back to like mid of last year, right? Look at that. Looks like it's like been through the spin cycle there, up and down, left and right. That thing's been all over the place. We took our eyes off it for a little while, so it's pretty surprising to see it at 87 cents now. All right, let's see what else we got here, at least on the gainer side. DWAC popped up earlier today. I was a fan of the chart, fan of the move based off the news, at least there from yesterday. Absolutely hated the order book. So, that's where I kind of stayed away for the most part on DWAC here throughout the day today. If it fills in, it's going to be a really fun stock over time. Just that's the issue. That's all in the order book. AUVI, same deal, just spaced out orders there for such a cheap trade. There's really no need to follow a stock like that. All right, now we're kind of cutting it close to 5%. We don't really have anything that we're too confident on right now. Instacart from earlier, or whatever they call it nowadays, Maple Bear. I don't know if that's the parent company for Instacart. I think we all know Instacart at least, but led to a little move earlier this morning, but now at this point just died off. All right, Chuck calling out the SOXL stock. And, I got AMD on my book map. Chuck knows that, at least himself. And wow, yeah, this has exploded. So, really strong move on AMD. I was going to get to like this at the end, at the very end of this meeting. I was going to come to this. Better sooner than later there, Chuck. So, good call on our chat board from one of our gold students here, Chuck. And, hey, if not AMD, then maybe you could just trade SOXL, making a pretty strong bounce here. Listen, it's not up or down that 5% that we strive for, but can't deny it's making a hell of a move right now. Nvidia's really not going that much. I don't know if this is news that's specific to maybe AMD there, Chuck, because this is making a lot better of a pop in terms of its recent movement. Let's really quickly check. All right, so at 2:30, it looks like JP Morgan ended up doing some sort of forum out there on AMD. There's something tagged with AMD and JP Morgan that came out at 2:30. So if there's anyone that could update me on that, at least there's some giant form. I'm not going to sift through it, but that's the only thing I got at least. But pretty good timing, and you know what? If it is specific to AMD, it's not up 5%, obviously, but it's plus on the day now. You know what? I'll add both there, Chuck. SOXL for like the whole sector, and then AMD. I mean, you got to make with what we got, right? Make do with what we got, meaning that like we don't really have too much on the gainers list that we could really go through. So we were going to get to our side list stocks there, but that was like a nice little alley oop from Chuck there on the SOXL and kind of diverting my attention to AMD, and they both go hand in hand. So at least we got that. All right, let's hop over to the loser side here. Holy smokes, what happened to Roma? What happened to Roma? Jeez. All right, so this ended up dropping off. I mean, relatively new IPO as we learned from last week, and for as much as it popped up early in pre-market, it's just that like, hey, I wasn't really expecting this to go from plus 8%, 14% on the morning to down 66, 67% now. That's nuts. So yeah, this is toast. Hey, checking in. How about this one? How about the what was it, the ELAB? That was the stock that we had at the all-time high just yesterday. Ha! How about this one now? It reminded me of it, right? In pre-market yesterday morning, we had the stock breaking all-time highs. I told you this would be breaking lower heading into this morning, and it did too. So, this one's down pretty much there as well, 19%. Listen, we can't really short any of these trades except diamond in the rough here, needle in the haystack. Save. Now, this trade right now I am in. So I got my stop set on this one. If it pops up another couple pennies, I'll take the loss. But, I was looking for this to try and break a little bit lower heading into the afternoon. It started off okay, but now at this point, it's stuck in its tracks. So if you're looking at this trade, just because I'm in it now, at this point doesn't mean that it's still a good trade. If the market bounces altogether, I'm sure this won't look to drop off as strongly at the minimum, meaning like it might just pop up there and we see some short covering once again. So that is where my stop is set tightly knit here on the stock. But given the news that recently came out yesterday and the fact, obviously, like I was looking for this drop off earlier, I'm going to at least put this on our list. Spirit Airlines, at least put this on our list. Obviously, for my trade's sake, I hope this tanks here coming up. But, if it hits 603, I'm out. So keep that in mind. But if this ends up breaking lower, all-time low is at 580. So, pretty close to all-time lows. All right, what else we got here as we kind of just scroll down the rest of the loser side here. All low volume, even if it is easy to borrow. Low volume or it's pretty cheap. This thing here doesn't look too bad. APLD, it's another AI company, actually. It's pretty funny. We got BFRG on the gainers list. At this point, this trade's done, though. And then we got, what was it, that last one there, the APLD, both AI stocks that we've traded in the past, and they've moved together, actually, at the same time before. Obviously not today. But yeah, APLD, nice drop off even from yesterday, actually. Big gap. Actually, we didn't really even call that one out as much, I don't believe. So let me check the news. What happened here from yesterday, the 16th? Earnings. Okay, earnings. This one is simply okay. Nothing really too fancy. Worse than expected quarter two financial results, and said it expects its revenue and basically guidance to be lower over next year. So yeah, I mean there we go. I mean nice little drop off from yesterday. Good short. Looks like we missed it, but even more, movement today. Even it seems so. I don't mind slipping this on our list with the save from our losers list for right now. Potential shorts that we could work with. IOVA kind of fits the mold, but the chart looking a little lackluster. I mean, it is right off the lows, though. It's only a mere 7 cents away. The issue is this. You got a huge iceberg order out there on the bid, mainly through the EDGX. It won't show up on NASDAQ right there. You could just see that part right from my level 2 there. EDGX, about 117,000 shares. Really all of that volume is right from that order book or exchange. That could just be one person actually entirely. So, you know what? For that reason, I'm going to actually add that to our list. Pretty compelling, pretty interesting. If you're not interested in shorting stocks, then just, look at that as a potential just case study to work with. What happens when a 117,000 share iceberg potentially gets filled? How could you be more reactant the next time? So when we put a stock on our watch list, I mean, hey, we want to trade it. But if it's something that you're not going to trade, it's something that you could watch and study from, not just kind of twiddle your thumb. Like that's it. Just use it as a really good learning lesson. That's it. So, all right. Hey folks, again, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, just more than 5%, type it in the chat board here right now, or forever hold your peace. No, I'm kidding. In that, well, at least for now, right? We'll be back at 3 o'clock, maybe 3:15. We'll rescan at that point. We'd love to hear from you if you're Chuck or Grant, Kathleen, Leda, any of our students inside our chat room or chat board. But LQR is sneaking up a little bit more as I've been talking. Now up to 3, whole number level. So you know what? There's still a great chance where this can completely shoot back down, but I don't want to wish that into existence. Hey, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Just want to throw caution out there to you folks. But yeah, I mean, for the meantime, I'll add this to our list now at this stage. There we go. All right. Pays to be a member inside our live trading room. Hey, just if you're Grant, any of our members right now, just click that link that Rich just posted. Just dropped a ton of shit from my desk. I just got to pick up a bunch of stuff from my desk right now. Click that link right there. Actually, you'll be able to watch Fausto live on a round table on NASDAQ Trade Talks with Jill Malandrino. Hey, if you're on social media, join us inside our room, not just for that link, but to get the full brunt, the full commentary right here coming up after 3 o'clock. I'll be back on the mic. We'll see what's out there. Oh, Chuck, that's right. Good call. Yeah, Chuck Boyle and as a swing trade. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just good eye. It's up, 4.5, near 5%, but we were calling it out before, right? So good reminder there, Boyle. And hey, as more of a swing, it's got a little bit of a thin order book now. It's a cheaper ETF. It was more liquid, but the more expensive anything gets, it's going to thin out. So it's more of a swing trade opportunity, I feel. All right, so going once, going twice, going 3 times. That was fast, I know, but we got to wrap up here quick, folks. I'm going to be back on the mic in T minus 11 minutes, and we'll go from there. But I think that's pretty much just about it. I mean, I'm checking out my Benzinga Pro to the right of me right now, right here. You don't really see much popping up new here that we haven't called out just yet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Boyle, that's all. All right, so hey, I like what we got now. We didn't really start off too hot with this list, but we worked together as a team. We built it up pretty nicely, right? So between the SOXL and AMD, they're not up or down 5%, but moving pretty nicely, at least for the time being. And we're going to follow those at first. Otherwise, we got a couple good shorts. APLD, we got the save trade potentially there still. We're calling out Boyle as a swing trade. We got a little variety for everyone here this afternoon. All right, I'm going to catch my breath, going to refill up on water. I'll be back in just about 10, 11 minutes, folks, just for 3 o'clock, and we'll go from there. But again, for all of us in social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., just join us on social media here at Cyber Trading U. And then otherwise, furthermore, inside our live trading room, just scan that QR code on the top left of the stream, get you live access to our moderators, educators, myself included, of course, the man himself, Fausto Pugliese, but just all of our students and the main chat that we have there each and every day. But I look forward to seeing you there. But otherwise, I'll be back on the mic very shortly for all of us.